Ahead on American Sunrise, Jeffrey Epstein's victims speak out. Later this morning, they're going to hold a press conference where there'll be new details. More on that and new Epstein files released this morning. Details ahead. Plus, the BBB Part 2. President Trump has already signed the one big beautiful bill, but is another one coming soon? It's in the works. Details ahead. And see you later, Jerry. New York Democrat Congressman Jerry Nadler says he's leaving Congress. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, FYI. The heartland of America devastated this morning. And that is called sarcasm. More on why the Trump nemesis is calling it quits as American Sunrise starts, Jerry, right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to American Sunrise. I'm Emily Finn, filling in today for Dr. Gina, live from West Palm Beach. Let's bring in David Brody in Washington, D.C., and Terrence Bates in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, you guys. A lot of big news to get to this morning, Terrence.
Oh, lots of huge news. Of course, a lot of it is going to focus on the Jeffrey Epstein case and the release of files related to that. There's a news conference set for just a couple of hours. About 10 victims we're hearing are going to be speaking during that news conference. But, David, all of this comes amid this Axios headline, which says House Oversight releases redacted batch of Epstein files. Those files, we're hearing about 33,000 pages or so, released yesterday. Do you see this as being preemptive in advance of what we're expecting to hear today during that news conference, David?
That's exactly what it is. It's all about the timing. The Jeffrey Epstein victims, are coming out this morning. And so, of course, this is going to be a document dump right before it. Because, look, the truth of the matter is Republican leadership in the House doesn't want this discharge petition by Ro Khanna and Tom Massey to go forward. It's just that simple. So they're trying to prevent certain Republicans. They need 6 Republicans. They, as in Ro Khanna and Massey, they need 6 Republicans to sign on to this thing. And they're trying to blunt that with saying, hey, we're releasing documents. DOJ is releasing documents. Yeah, there's about 33,000 that were released, but get ready for the womp womp, because most of it is already in the public domain. Exactly. Right. You got about, maybe a couple percent of it is some new logs regarding customs and immigration enforcement that's looking at where Jeffrey Epstein's plane was between 2000 and 2014. Other than that, it's a big womp womp. But this is what Mike Johnson and honestly, President Trump and others are going to just say, which is like, look, we're releasing the documents. And my understanding, it's going to be a trickle situation to say, look, no need for the discharge petition. They are releasing the documents. But there doesn't seem to be a lot of there this morning.
Emily, doesn't this all raise more questions, though?
Certainly. I think there's been a ton of unanswered questions this whole time, and that's why there's been such a demand from the American people for file releases and so much pressure on our lawmakers to get this done. But David, like you said, it was a major womp womp this morning. I was reading only 3% is actually new information and nothing too significant. And I really don't think we're going to learn anything that new from the victims today. I think it's going to be really difficult and really hard to hear, what they had to go through. But I don't know if anything new is going to come out, because it's really just that accountability, Terrence, that people want at this point. They feel as though that there were wrongs that need to be righted in some way. There needs to be some justice.
Yeah, I want answers. I think many American voters and many in our public just want answers. We want to know who was involved. And we want justice to be served. Anyway, we'll be talking more about that over the next couple of hours. But in the meantime, let's talk about something positive, guys. Emily, would you give us our Bible verse?
Absolutely. Let's check it out. Today's Bible verse is from Psalm 46:10. It says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." A very comforting verse to start this morning. All right. In roughly 2 hours, as we we're just talking about. We will hear from some of the Jeffrey Epstein victims during a press conference that is slated to take place at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. California Congressman Ro Khanna said these accounts will force lawmakers to vote on a bill making the Justice Department release the Epstein files. Many of these victims have reportedly never spoken out, and late last night, Congress released the first batch of the Epstein files as part of the Oversight Committee's subpoena to the Justice Department. For more, let's bring in RAV Chief White House Correspondent Brian Glenn. Brian, what more can you tell us about all of this? Give us a preview of what we can expect to hear today.
Yes, good morning. A little bit later, about 10:30 at the Triangle, just off the steps of the Capitol, is where you'll have these survivors, these victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his, spider web of people that sexually assaulted some of these individuals as young as 14 to 17 years old. And not just Jeffrey Epstein that you will find out that was involved with this, but his whole staff, people that worked for him, drivers, accountants, chefs, personal assistants, all provided assistance to sexual assaulting these young girls. And you're going to hear some heartbreaking stories, and this will be the first time that these women have spoken out and been public about this. And I know Republicans, I know they are looking to have 6 more people sign on to this to be able to get this discharge petition. I know that Marjorie Taylor Greene has added her name to the list. I think Nancy Mace has done so as well. Some have spoken out about meeting. They met with the families and some of the survivors yesterday. They've spoken out about their concern, but they have not confirmed that they will be on that signature list. So some people are just waiting to maybe go through the oversight and some of the other things that will take place. But you're going to hear some stories, and I think that's one part of this story, Terrence and David, that we have not heard yet. We've always heard things about Jeffrey Epstein and perhaps who was involved, but we haven't really heard from the victims. And this will be a very eye-opening, I think, experience today around 10:30. And we'll have, from what I understand, from a programming note, we're going to dip in on that as soon as it starts.
Yeah, a lot of public pressure coming against Speaker Johnson, and quite frankly, the White House as well. All right, so time for the broken record portion of the show, Brian. The judges are up to it yet again, these liberal judges. Here is the Associated Press headline: Trump's use of the National Guard during the LA immigration protests is illegal. Of course, a judge is now saying that. Of course, it's not stopping President Trump from going into other cities. He said at the White House yesterday, as you know, you were there, we're going in regarding Chicago. Any sense of when that might happen? What's the latest, Brian?
That's a great question. I didn't really say when, but that is kind of classic Trump style, if you will.
Yeah.
Could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be next month. And it's interesting to note that if, he always likes to use Los Angeles as an example, that if he would not have sent the National Guard into Los Angeles, that city might have, quote, burned a lot of it. And of course, you've got the Olympics coming up. I think that's a big part of deploying the National Guard around cities that have, you've got World Cup, you've got FIFA coming up. So don't stop at Chicago. I think you could go to other cities as well that is experiencing an uptick in crime, and you've got these rogue judges, and he commented on it yesterday in the Oval Office, that are making these decisions. But if you ask the public court of opinion, David, people that live in these cities want the National Guard there. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Brian, I told you yesterday that we could play my question to you every single day until we finally get an answer. Congress obviously going back to work, and they've got this government shutdown deadline looming. But The Hill has this headline, which reads, Trump GOP face tough choices for second tax bill. They obviously could use the reconciliation process again, but there's a lot on the line when it comes to not only funding our government, but also trying to improve life for the American people. And the second tax bill would be one of the many things on Congress's plate.
It would be, and that's one of the biggest wins, I think, in the big beautiful bill. Even when that was passed, of the Trump tax breaks, they do have a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of things that we got to point out in this previous budget that many Trump supporters voted against. There's a lot of things that are still in this budget that need to be taken out, and I think they need to sit down, look at those things, carve it out, make sure we fund the things in our government that need to be funded, but obviously take out some of the Green New Deal things, and there's other items that are in that budget that simply weren't a part of the MAGA agenda. But David, you pointed this out yesterday. I thought it was an excellent observation. When this has been going on for years, kicking the can down the road, and I think eventually, the road ends. I think there is no pavement in front of the can, and you have to deal with it. You have to pick up the can and deal with it instead of kicking it down the road. It's going to be if September, and we said this yesterday, September is loaded with news stories. Everything from starting today at 10:30 all the way up to September 30th, and all the things that happen here at the White House. I mean, President Trump is still heavily involved in the tariff situation. You've got the China, Russia, India, North Korean alliance. You've got this huge, Chinese military parade yesterday that we saw. There's so many stories going on, and so many important decisions that have to be made on the Hill and here in the White House. So buckle up, get the popcorn. Terrence, we talked about it. September is going to be the month, but keep an eye on that budget. And I'm with you. I think the American people are tired of just this of Congress just kicking the can down the road. I think they are, and I think that it's time for someone to be bold and stand up and go, we need to stop it. And if a government shutdown, I know that's a very unpopular thing to say, but we said it before. I don't think the American people care that much if you shut the government down. I just don't. And from what I'm hearing from people, and we see people all the time, they don't care.
Well, Brian, thank you so much for breaking this all down for us this morning. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Bri.
All right, Emily.
Coming up, we check out the hottest headlines from the RAV newsroom with T. Bates. And later, Iran is calling out the U.S. on nuclear talks, trying to end uranium enrichment. But where is this all going to go? We analyze soon on American Sunrise.